but joy. And we're going to hear our voices full of joy this morning as we sing our first hymn, Spirit of Life Eternal, on page 5. Please be seated. Reverend John.
Thank you. Good morning, family. Joy to add my own words of welcome to you all and to those that are joining us in consciousness and also on the World Wide Web. My friends, it is a joy for me to introduce our speaker this morning. I won't call him a guest speaker because you can't be a guest in your own home. So I just say welcome home. He told me on Wednesday that and he said it again this morning in the prayer room, that he hasn't been at all emotional. He's the only one of the two of us. About being back in Jamaica after 17 years because he never really left. And perhaps he'll explain a bit more about that when he speaks with us this morning. It's all here. As you may have heard or read on social media, he was one of Reverend Elmer Lumsden's early practitioner students. And he's the person who brought me to the temple, for which some of you may or may not thank him. And he has been a major influence on my life, as well as on the life of countless people around the world who have been exposed to his amazing understanding of human, social, political, economic, and metaphysical and spiritual matters. He can truly be described as a Renaissance man. Our speaker's anthology of quotations, a wonderful book titled Wisdom for the Soul, 5 Millennia of Prescriptions for Spiritual Healing, as well as his follow-up book, Wisdom for the Soul of Black Folk, and I think there's another one coming, Wisdom from the Soul of Queer Folk as well, but it's not in print yet. But they were introduced, that first book, in May 2006 at the Book Expo of America, and it has been much acclaimed. Another book, Basic Jamaican, is an introduction to Jamaican language, not just for non-Jamaicans, but for those of us who speak it but don't know how to read or write it. Always a thinker outside the box, he is currently working, and listen to this, on developing a new planetary economy. A system of accounting designed to replace the old paradigm which measures people's worth based on how much money they do or do not earn or have. And yet, friends, this man is not an economist. He's actually a graduate in environmental design. What is the University of Southern California?
No, California College of Arts.
The California College of Arts. That was a long time ago. He sought asylum in the USA in 2000 after several threats were made on his life for his gay rights activism, and he's back in Jamaica at the invitation of the Jamaica Forum of Lesbians all sexuals and gays, J Flag, to whom he gave the keynote address at the Jamaica Conference Center at last Wednesday's 5th annual Human Rights Symposium, named in his honor. So it's the 5th annual Larry Chang Human Rights Symposium. He was wonderful. The many facets of the soul who brings us today's message are summed up by Jerry Wright, professor of social work and anthropology at Savannah State University in Georgia, in the USA, who writes of him, and I quote, "He brings a special spirituality to whomever he meets. He has the amazing ability to transcend race, ethnicity, gender, religion, and sexual orientation in his efforts to heal the planet. His wisdom might well be the path that we need to lead us to both individual and global peace." End of quote. So our speaker this morning is not only in great demand as a speaker on human rights, he's asked to speak on a wide range of topics, ranging from the economic paradigm that he's working on through, he does workshops on empowerment. He's absolutely just a treasure trove of information and of wisdom and of pure love. And above all, he's a nice person. So I want you to help me welcome a son of the soil, a citizen of the world, a revolutionary thinker, my brother from a different mother, Larry Chang.
Well, thank you so much. It is a real pleasure to be back home. Not that I ever lived, as John said, but this is my spiritual home. And so this has very special meaning and significance for me. I have to say that immediately I am within a familiar resonance, yes? I sensed it, I felt it, I just fell into it as soon as I got here. And I hope you're feeling the same thing too. For those of you who may not know me or have encountered me before, this may be a little bit disruptive, but, stay with me. Okay, I don't recognize that person that Reverend John was speaking about, but, if I saw them say, well, that's I saw them say. Anyway, whatever. Oh, where's my program? I'm looking, here. I'm sorry, this was not planned, but it's one of those synchronicities that you have to go with as they arise, because that's one of the ways that the universe works, and that all that is manifests in and as each one of us. So I'm just going to refer back to the responsive reading and quote as the epigraph to my talk, because I hadn't planned one, because the universe had it in mind. The old heaven and earth sink away into forgotten dreams because I have found myself, because I know myself, because I am myself. I am a tower whose elixirs of radiance reveal the visions of heaven to the senses of man. This is my stopless, everlasting ministry. I think this. I speak this, I write this, I live this. Now, those words were chosen for me, and I hope they were chosen for you too, because, I immediately connected. And as I said, they're the perfect epigraph for all of the mumbo-jumbo that I am now going to unleash on you. And again, for those of you who have not encountered me before, it's going to be maybe a bumpy ride, so, get comfortable, sit back, open up, be receptive, because you may hear something that, what's that? Yeah? Okay. Oh, there is a disclaimer before I even get into it. And this disclaimer, yes, I'm quoting Buddha. Do not believe in anything simply because you have heard it, especially from me. Do not believe in anything simply because it is spoken and rumored by many. Do not believe in anything simply because it is found written in your religious books. Do not believe in anything merely on the authority of your teachers and elders. Do not believe in traditions because they have been handed down for many generations. But after observation and analysis, when you find anything that agrees with reason and is conducive to the good and the benefit of one and all, then accept it and live up to it. Having said that, wherever you go, there you are. Let us look for a minute at this thing called you. If you have done Science of Mind 101, you will recognize that as the title of a book by Ernest Holmes, yes? Required reading. Most of us think of ourselves as free acting agents enclosed in a bag of skin. Anything inside that enclosure is us, and anything outside is other. It appears, however, that that is not so. You are more than that, a whole lot more. In the vastness and limitlessness of the one mind, each of us is a single point of consciousness in that unendingness, a point within the whole. This point is defined, realized, or expressed as the impulse or thought, I am. That impulse is the origin of you. The moment of definition, the separation of self from the whole, the differentiation of the wave from the ocean, the particle from the fabric. Buddhism reminds us that there really is no separate self. Hindus say it is all Maya, an illusion. It is fine to get caught up in the illusion, but always remembering that it is Lila, the divine play, enjoying itself as this thing called you. It seems part of being human is to forget this. From the purity and absoluteness of that originating impulse, we add layer upon layer of desires, generating fears when those desires are unmet, which spawn a whole complex of impulses of inadequacy, insecurity, lack, resentment, jealousy, anger, depression, envy, and so on. Bear in mind, those are mere thought patterns. We proudly combine these into what we call our ego, which we then turn around and defend from imaginary threats. If only we could stop and remember our rootedness and oneness in the one. This remembering is all that practicing the present, being present, and meditating is all about. While this thing called you appears to be located in time and space as and within the physical body, which serves as the vehicle and performance mechanism, a tool that allows us to manipulate and maneuver in the physical plane, some go even further to identify and locate the self in and as the heart and or the brain. It turns out that your mind itself is not limited to either of those two organs, since the vagus nerve plays a vital role in connecting major organs and in autonomic responses. It could even be considered another brain, the emotional processor, rather than the heart, which is really only a pump. The mind, then, is distributed throughout the body, a reflection in microcosm of the one mind being diffused through all that is. By tracing electrical impulses and chemical signals, neuroscientists have been able to map certain responses and reactions with a fair amount of precision and predictability. By electrically stimulating certain parts of the brain, emotional experiences can be induced and memories relived. The system also responds to fluctuations in electrical charges by secreting powerful chemical substances, such as hormones and neuropeptides. These are generated in different organs of the body and transmitted to receptor sites throughout the body and the brain. Besides this network of activity, various populations of microorganisms live in and on the body, carrying out various functions, including producing certain enzymes and chemicals. So numerous are these tenants of the body that their number exceeds human cells by 10 to 1. Think about that. You are only 10% of your genetic material. Shocking. The body cannot survive without these microorganisms. A baby starts out sterile in the womb, but collects its first microbiotic cohabitants as it moves down the birth canal. This has been shown by babies delivered by C-section who are deprived of this inoculation and grow up to be less healthy than their natural delivery counterparts, and they have compromised immune systems thereby. Microorganisms, including what we call germs, were here eons before us. We evolved in their universe, in their presence, and with their cooperation and input. We are how we are because of them. We would not be here without them. They are actually our antecedents, and we still depend on them. So who is you? With the function and activity of the mind being distributed in so many parts of the body and in so many different ways, it is difficult, therefore, to locate it in any one place, much less to pinpoint the seat of the soul. With so many inhabitants of the body complex, which we strongly identify with the self and the ego, where do we begin and they end? Who is you? We pride ourselves on being free agents, making decisions and choices, shaping our lives as we see fit. By tracing electrical impulses, neurological studies have shown, however, that areas of the brain related to that decision that you make and are so confident in, those actions that you initiate, show up in those regions of the brain 6 seconds before you are aware of that decision. Is someone in there deciding for us? For while we think we are the ones in control, it raises the question of free will. And do we really have it? It sounds to me more like a community will, yes? Which then becomes expressed through us, even though we are under the delusion that it is our own individual free will who is making these decisions. And so that's another way we are connected to the entire universe. As we think thoughts, electrical impulses are generated from neuron to neuron through connections of synapses. The more we repeat those thoughts, the stronger the neural pathways become. I'm basically now giving you the mechanics of science of mind. Huh? Okay, so listen carefully, because I don't think, the course material has really caught up with this, it's leading edge research. The more we repeat those thoughts, the stronger those neural pathways become. These form the infrastructure of our mind patterns. If we tend to think positive thoughts, particular neural networks are activated and they get stronger with use. The same goes for negative thoughts. The brain matter and function do not care whether it's negative or positive. Those neurons are going to be strengthened the more you use them. Neural plasticity allows you to literally reshape your brain simply by the neural pathways that you create, use more, and thereby strengthen. Therein lies your choice. What you see is what you get. As our brain patterns are established, rather than recalculate and reconfigure every time new data is presented to us, they are processed automatically by the predominant structures, simply as a matter of efficiency. Everything is information down to your genetic code, which programs your being in your body. Your body brain or vagus nerve and its connections are constantly monitoring and regulating breathing, heart rate, and blood. I left out pressure. And blood pressure, and the chemicals that affect these without you having to think about it. Yeah? Do you consciously control your heart rate, your blood pressure? Yeah? Your insulin level? All of this is being done for you. Who is doing it? There is always and already too much information. TMI. These neural structures then act as filters or selectors of incoming data and perceptions, so there is no overload. It means that what you see, experience, and feel is pre-selected for you by the programs you have running. If you do not like what you are currently experiencing, then you can simply change the program. This is the scientific basis for cognitive therapy, neuro-linguistic programming, and science of mind, and other psychotechnologies. Change your thoughts, change your life. That's how you change the program, which is embedded in the neural structures that you are building. What I like about science of mind is its open-endedness. Ernest Holmes taught that revelation was an ongoing process. Yes, not a closed system. An ongoing process so that our understanding of truth would evolve with the growth of consciousness. With this new understanding, we can revisit some of our basic beliefs. Scientific prayer we are trained to apply is the reprogramming of those neural pathways to modify your brain structures, bringing you the experiences you prefer. There is no magic in the power of the word, beyond the effect it has in reshaping your brain. The word does nothing to affect anything out there, only inside here. Reverend Thelma used to say, it is no use trying to comb your hair in the mirror. While you create your own reality through the use of thought, we now have to expand our idea of what you is. And that is perfectly grammatical. We now have to expand our idea of what you is to include your internal biome, your chemical productions, and metabolic responses. We already know there is a vast unconscious part of the mind, but there are also the equally unconscious activities and processes which are not mental, but determine your feeling and mental states. When you are asleep, this whole other part of you continues. The you that you are is an emergent phenomenon of all of these processes. This thing called you is a much larger self than we had supposed. Furthermore, each self is but an individualized expression of the one mind through the filters and programs operating in you. It is becoming clearer as you can locate yourself in this mind through the internet and social media, for example. I am often asked if I do not miss home. I am always at home. I am with you. You are with me. No separation in the one mind. Only as you perceive and allow divisions to arise. Wherever you go, there you are. Enjoy your larger self. Thank you.